Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. Shock Therapy, ride your way. And by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977.
$14.7 to 1, that magic number we all call stoichiometric. The perfect air-fuel ratio. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. Yep, we're talking about emissions, catalytic converter, what's going on. Well, the first thing we have to understand is what's happening when your car burning these emissions. And what's going on is you have carbon monoxide coming out of the tailpipe. Well, that goes through your catalytic converter and out comes carbon dioxide. You have hydrocarbons, which is just raw gasoline going into that catalytic converter, and out comes H2O. And then you have oxides of nitrogen, or NOx, going in there. Once that comes out, you should have some oxygen, nitrogen on the other side if it's working properly. Now you can do a 5-gas analyzation and tell what's going on with your car. Here's a 5-gas analyzation. What do? Well, they actually stick a wand in the tailpipe there, and that's actually going to sniff the exhaust. You can see the content of what's going on. That CO2 number, well, that's 14%. Anything above 13%, well, your car's running pretty good. Tells you a lot of what's going on inside of your car, your carbon monoxide, your HCs, and your O2. What are good numbers? Well, you can see them right there. HCs, 200 parts per million or less. COs, 2% or less. Oxides and nitrogen should be between 0 and 7%, and the O2 should be 3 or 4%. Now, this chart, this is actually huge. When we're looking at this chart, everything revolves around that 14.7. Everything functions properly. Fluids play a big key in that, especially oil. Tell me why.
Well, because basically anything that is in your oil can end up in your exhaust. It's an engine. It isn't perfect. Things sneak past the rings and it ultimately ends up in the exhaust, and it can end up in the catalytic converter. Something that you really have to watch when you're building these oils is the anti-wear additives, specifically zinc and phosphorus. We refer to it as zinc. The phosphorus portion of that can poison that catalytic converter and reduce efficiency. The performance that we're seeing out of some of these cars that you can just buy from the dealership now, it's crazy. So you have to go to work building the oil better on the front end versus putting a bunch of Band-Aid additive and zinc and phosphorus on top of it. That's kind of the key there. That way, it keeps your catalyst happy.
Well, people don't realize it's all emissions related, especially when it comes to fuel injection. Fuel additives are key for that as well.
Exactly. This is about maintaining efficiency. So any of these fuel additives are going to help keep the injector spray pattern clean, nice and efficient. It keeps those rings sealing tight against those cylinder walls, keeps those deposits non-existent.
You know, when that check engine light pops up, it's usually emissions related complaint. So if you want good emissions and performance, where can they go to find these products, Len?
Well, they can go to AMSOIL.com.
Our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week is Hee Jun-ju from Orange County, California. Now, just a couple of years ago, he knew nothing about off-roading. That's when Ju and his fiancée, Ari Quintero, started getting on some online forums, and it didn't take long before they went to their first off-road event, and they were hooked. Their love for travel has taken them all over the Northwest, and this year's Big Trek wound its way through Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, with off-road stops along the way. And Ju says his 2021 Tacoma TRD is built for comfort, for overlanding, and even for rock crawling. So he's done a good job making that a multi-purpose vehicle. You could be like Hee Jun-ju and Ari Quintero. Just drop us a note. Go to motorheadgarage.tv and tell us why you should be Motorhead of the Week. And if you have a service or product you want to see featured here on the show, drop us a line. motorheadgarage.tv is the place to go. We'll get you here in our Campbell's Custom Care studio. From everyone here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, we will see you next time. In the meantime, drive safely. I'm going to take just a moment to honor the memory of someone near and dear to us here at Motorhead Garage and Masters Entertainment Group. Linda Jones passed away earlier this week. Linda's husband, Ted, founded our company nearly 3 decades ago, and since then, Linda has been an integral part of everything we've done here. She was the company's chief financial officer and chairman of the board, but through the years, she also took on the roles of field producer, production assistant, travel agent, assistant director, and more. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Listen to some of the things Linda's accomplished in her life. She held a U.S. Coast Guard's captain's license. She was a former CFO at Bristol Dragway and of the International Hot Rod Association. She served as the editor for Drag Review magazine. Linda wrote commercials for IHRA national events. She ran those IHRA national events and helped run 4 drag strips that she and Ted owned. In 2023, Linda won the Pat Garlett's Memorial Award and she was inducted into the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. On top of that, she was a mother, a grandmother, and an amazing partner to her husband Ted for over 60 years. We're very sad to say goodbye, but so many people are lucky to have known and worked with you. Linda Jones, you made a difference and you will be missed.